Kathy Vick, Deeply Awake. Yeah, I dyed my hair. You can't really tell, but it's midnight blue and purple and brown, and it's really cool. And I shaved the back, so that's pretty cool. It feels really good. I'm back on the wheel. So that's what I always call it. When I get to the place where I'm perpetually serving and perpetually trying to figure out how this can possibly be enough. I was thinking about that as I was strolling through the Walmart today. Being on the wheel. And it's a fine place to be, I guess. I mean, I think sometimes that there's this warring consciousness. One thought group says, well, to be totally in alignment, you really need to be totally in agreement with what's going on in your reality at any given time. Okay? And then there's this other camp, the sort of the more, I think, shamanistic warrior camp that a lot of us spring from. There are many people who resonate with the idea of being a system buster. Someone who just goes in and, sees what's going on and tries to make a difference and system bust. And there are a lot of system busters. And on my son's birthday eve, I think it's only appropriate to talk about these unusual children who we have hatched and who are growing up. Because they are, the ones I've met are pretty amazing people. I mean, just pretty amazing. And put together in a way that I don't think our generation was. And I'm 55, so I'm in the grandma class, really. And I dig it. The older I get, the more I like it. Although I have been quite self-conscious of it lately. And there is a quiet joy to being around those your own age. And a kind of a, I don't know how I'm going to feel about that when I'm 70. Ew, gross. Because I really do feel very young. And I have interests that are, not age appropriate, I guess. And I think that's kind of okay. But lately I have had to kind of figure out a better set of priorities for myself. And that's part of being on the wheel. It requires organization, forward thinking, planning, all the things that I don't give a crap about. And I'm beginning to see just how important they are. And I was highly resentful that I didn't have a squadron of helpers there for a while. I was like, where is everybody? Why am I having to pull all of this weight myself? Not really fully understanding that I was being supported. Ew, right? It's like, God, you ungrateful bitch. Don't you see how many people are helping you? So I don't know. I just see all this paradox, and I'm walking through the Walmart thinking, I know this is temporary. I'm quite aware of that, and I'm very relieved about that, because it was really kind of soul crushing to be on the wheel. I don't like being on the wheel. When I was working 3 12-hour shifts, I wasn't quite as much on the wheel, but I sort of disappeared from reality because I worked nights, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, And you have 2 good days, but they're during the week. And everybody's doing their thing. And I did that for 10 years. 10 years, more actually, a lot more than 10, but 10 full time. And I just sort of, faded into the background. And I don't know, sauteed, I guess. Because what mattered was just moving the ball down the field. So that was good. But now, my child, my little premature infant baby that I could literally put one hand under and flip when he was a baby and sleeping in his bassinet because he was a lightweight. Well, he's going to be 16 tomorrow. And he's so strong and he's so gentle. And he's so deep. And so still. And so quiet. And he's taught me a lot. He's molded me more, I think, than any other person. And I trust him more than any other person on earth. I don't know. He's just, there's a very curious bond. And I sometimes forget it. Because he's not around sometimes. It's kind of a half and half kind of thing. And so it was easy to become, I don't know, just a little bit, I could feel a distance. And I think that's the teenage stuff, the individuation stuff, and the beginning to solve problems. But a lot of that really was absent. It was just, there's a quiet, steady knowing in him that I can't explain. He has people stop him in public, and they comment on how beautiful they find him. It's an honor. It's an honor. And he's helped me. He's a teacher as well as a student. I can remember him being a little boy and us deciding that he just said that he was my mom. And I understood what that implied. That we talked about it. We know each other. He's not from around here. But we have agreements. And so and I said, yeah, well, I know that I've been your kid. So I think we're going to have to do this different than most people. And just, so it's cool. So we've been talking like that since he could talk. And so he's a very enchanting entity. And but with children, I decided a long time ago that children are not possessions, and they are not to be. I have an obligation to show him the societal norms, and to get him to really trust himself and believe in himself. And that's really hard. That's just something that everybody has to go through, I think. A period of, I don't know, he's growing up. And, but I'm proud of him, and I know he's going to be just fine. I've always known that. Since he was about 3 years old. No, earlier. I call him bulletproof. There's something about him that's really pure. Really pure. And, I don't know, it's just, the people he hangs with, and it's a very interesting thing to watch another human being who is on loan. He's not mine. he's someone who but he's not mine, but we are, the same blood. And it was a blood agreement. So it's a good one. And as my ex-husband said, it is. Sam is the best thing that's ever happened to me. And he was necessary for me. And sure as shooting, I seem to be kind of necessary to Sam. Although he stands alone. He is his own entity. And I'm proud of him no matter what he does. I told him, I'd prefer you don't have a really hot head. I prefer that you use, good common sense, and that you understand that it would never be correct, ever, under any circumstance, to take another person's life. But if you were dumb enough to do it, I'd come visit you, for fuck's sake. But just don't. Learn some control. It's a crap place to wind up. But, those things can happen if you don't keep your temper. So, that's a valuable lesson. I'm talking to him like that when I don't know, when he's 8. Oh, God, that poor kid. I used to say, I don't even know what's going to happen to you, poor kid. Because I'm just me around him. I am more me around him than I am with anyone. I don't filter anything around him. Well, no. I think it's very unhealthy. Very unhealthy. And the thing is, he won't let me. I mean, we have our secrets, obviously. Obviously. You have your own stuff, come on. But I'm just, whatever. What do you want to know about me? What do you want to know about life? What do you know about life? Let's just talk. Because he blows my mind. Some of the stuff he says, it's just so boom. He's just made this prophecy. The next war is going to be a water war. He's been saying that for a while. When he was a kid, he was talking about magnetics a lot, and now he just kind of goes, well, whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. There's going to be a water war in 10 years. And I don't know how many of you watched The Big Short, but holy Lord, what a movie. What an awakening. What a good history lesson. Michael Lewis, I think that's his name. It's some amazing work. Amazing. And making the circle jerk that macroeconomics is in America that time when the market fell, exposing sorry for Sunshine, she's looking for love in all the wrong places. But anyway, when the market fell, well, it's very well documented by this man called The Big Short. And at the end of it, one of the key players who identified something very early that turned out to be the end of the world for a lot of people is now only concentrating on water. And Crayons talked about it too. The water is the next gold. So, I don't know. Interesting times. So, anyway, I like, in a way, being on the wheel because it means that I have structure in my life, and I'm really happy to freeform my life and live as an artiste. But then it dawns on me, oh, actually, rent's kind of expensive, so I better get my rear in gear. So I guess I wanted to check in because it's been kind of bugging me. I'm really glad about the channeling they did. I liked it. It was very helpful to frame it. And then the next thing I read was Carlos Castaneda, The Fire Within. And I'd read it on my sojourn in 12 when I had this big, huge awakening thing. It was a really amazing few days. And I read that one, and now I'm rereading it. And I realized I really did not understand what I was reading at the time. But he talks about the petty tyrant, and how if you're lucky enough to have a petty tyrant, and this is just a metaphor for just something that gets in your brain and won't leave you, or somebody who just gets under your skin and will not stop, and you just don't like them, or they are violent and abusive, or mean, or fucked up, and you're just entangled, and you just all of that, all right? And it can be like your boss, your lover, it could be anybody. Petty tyrant. What do you do with that? Now, this is a role, okay? And I know I've played that role. Woo! It's a role. But a petty tyrant is someone who rules by fear and all that kind of crap. So, if you find one of these people, or you have this sort of experience, here's Carlos Castaneda talking about the same thing that the teachers were talking about this morning about, conflict. God dang it. She's kind of having trouble, so we'll give her a pass, and I'll screen her ass. So Carlos is talking about the petty tyrant, and if you encounter someone like this, or have this kind of experience, you should just be giggly. And the new seers, as opposed to the old seers, the new seers were very astute at how to use the petty tyrant and so they were delighted, because that's spiritual weightlifting. So they don't see it as a karmic thing that you brought on yourself. La 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 la. No, this is so embarrassing. Oh my God. There. I have a cat on my back. The idea here, sorry about that. Just giggle. It doesn't matter. But the idea is that when you have a situation, whatever it might be, that is where you are victimized, and frankly, obviously victimized, okay? Like you're getting beaten up, or you're getting just emotionally abused, or whatever. And I'm not talking about things not working out in a relationship, la, okay? I'm talking about the real deal. I'm talking about psycho stuff. Well then, that's a petty tyrant. And there's a subclass of those who just get under your skin and annoy the shit out of you. They just annoy the shit out of you. And it's just taking away all of this karmic overlay of good and bad, right and wrong, la la la, and saying, well, thank your lucky stars. Because then he goes through this very interesting, and it's too complicated to explain, but this interesting victory story where his bully, who actually it was like really dark and twisty. And so he was in this situation, got out of it, and by being shot in the chest. And a Nagal picked him up, a seer, and trained him as he healed him, and helped him to understand that this was for his spiritual quest. And so he trained him in forbearance and timing and other skills that warriors must have when dealing with these difficulties, these conflicts, these petty tyrants. And the idea here is that these are, they don't use the word holy, and Carlos doesn't use the word holy. It's all about warriorship and shamanship. And I'm so much more comfortable with that. It normalizes it for me. And it takes it out of the realm of, you did this to me or whatever. And it's just like, okay, well, and this is what the teachers would do. It was really fun because I would walk in with a problem, and first of all, the energy would knock me out. I'd be so full of love and acceptance and everything's going to be okay. And then I would really forget why I was there. But, you know, the idea is that it's all really energetics, and it's all karmic agreements. And, you know, you can get all worked up about it. That's fine. You're supposed to. If you're not playing the game properly. You're supposed to actually be, you know, in touch with your emotions and to have feelings. But, you know, there's a little bit less self-reproach or kind of self-editing after the fact. There must be a word for that. Self-editing after the fact. Well, the funny thing is, and I'll end with this, is that Carlos was talking about the virtue of a seer. Their true strength is their practice, which is constant inner awareness and categorizing and working like I do. It's like, oh, it's like reading Rupert Sheldrake that first time, you know, that shiver of recognition. Well, I've been reading Carlos Castaneda since I think it was 16, could have been 13, that my aunt gave me the set and said, I wanted to get this for you because you're so weird. So thank you, Leona. So, Auntie Leona. And it kind of was kind of an ew, but then I read it and oh yeah, baby. But I never really, it was like Hinduism. I could read the shit out of that stuff, but I never really got it. I just knew it was home. Just, you know, keep it around. So I've had I don't know how many Gitas in my lifetime. And I have a tattoo of an Om on the back of my neck that I put on there in 93 when I didn't even know what it meant. 94, whatever. But I knew I had to have one, and I knew I had to have it on the back of my neck. Alright, whatever. And then Hinduism just explodes in my life. And I'm so utterly in love with Shiva. Oh my God. It's a thing. Huh. And it just is. It has been for quite a while. But since 12. But it's the same thing with this. It feels just like, yeah, okay, recognition and more ease. I like it when that all of the relationship crap just gets lifted off, and there's no more of the reflecting and the wonder, you know. There's no more of that. It's just you're you, I'm doing me, and you do you. But I certainly wasn't there today. Really wasn't, and it was very not okay about that, because I just was off my game. I wasn't feeling centered, and I wasn't able to get very mindful. I don't like those days when I'm really acting in ways that I don't feel comfortable acting, but I do. And oftentimes I think that is, well, that's as much channeling as anything. I know what it feels like to channel. When, you know, you've got things to say or whatever, and it's like, yeah, I'm not in control of this, and they need to say what they need to say. And I look at this, and I think it's kind of an unusual art form, but I do think that that's what it is. And it's, you know, for a few right now, but that's not forever. There are projects that are just in my breath, and they come especially at night. But there's very little time to do much when you're on the wheel. And I know that a time will come when I can apply the effort that is required to just spit it out, because I've got a few projects that have been bubbling for a while. But in the meantime, I'm on the wheel, as many are. But still, there are these pockets of psychedelia, or psychedelica, I don't know. I wasn't feeling very soft or joyful or happy today. I was feeling very put out. Just put out all day long. And that's a crap-ass place to be. And it kind of taints everything. So, but there you go. Emotions. It is what it is. And the funny thing is, tomorrow's a brand new day. And reasonable people, of which I sometimes am not, there's always another chance. You know? It's always, Lordy B, here's another one. Wonder what I'll do with this one. I wonder what will be done. And I wonder what I'll be like when I lay my head down again. And how different it might be. So, in the meantime, delight me. Gently, sweetly surprise me with good things. And, you know, this conflict stuff, well, how about seeing it like a warrior? How about seeing it like a seer? How about seeing it like a speaker? It is, you can call it divine. You can call it karmic. You can call it soulic. You can call it by agreement and request. You can call it a lot of things. But maybe the tough things, and those things that sometimes stick out, unfortunately, more than they should, they're asking for neutrality. Doesn't it feel better when it's laid to rest? I think so. And knowing full well that, you know, life goes on. And I certainly wouldn't have anticipated this 20 years ago. And who knows what's going to happen in 20 years? Who knows? 20 years is a whatever. It's a generation, basically. I consider 40 a generation. But it's enough to make babies again. So it's, you know, biologically a generation. And a whole hell of a lot can change in 20 years. And I won't be on the wheel. Hopefully I'll be well, I know it's going to be good. I've always known that. So, in the meantime, I'm on the wheel. As I'm sure you are. And the question is do you put up with things you don't like? Do you keep your mouth shut and just let them happen? Or do you use a situation as a warrior would to give people their due? Let it, and this is how they put it in the warrior handbook, and I think that, or the handbook, the fire within, but the teachers talked about similar things, just energetics, and it's too complicated to go into right this minute, but there are certain tenets to energetics. Bottom line, behavior is either skilled or unskilled. Get over it. And to close, I will close. There's this idea of self-importance that Don Juan, Carlos's Nagal, or teacher, was telling him he really couldn't go any further until he addressed self-importance. And self-importance makes you act very rashly. makes you act like a petty tyrant. Oh, nice blend. Nice closure. So, self-importance is really a big deal. And I blow out when I feel self-important. You bet I do. I really do. And I will admit that I feel self-important quite a lot. And I don't like that. Really don't. It's very self-absorbed. And it fails to hold a lot of compassion for the other. And it makes you act in really bad ways. Self-importance. But, in the end, he closes his chapter on petty tyrants by saying, well, either you fight a petty tyrant, and because it was asked, well, do seers or warriors, do they fall to petty tyrants? And Don Juan said, well, yeah, by the thousands when the Spaniards came in, because petty tyrants have all the power, all the authority. And so it's a very interesting situation to combat when you are completely and utterly powerless. Is that being a victim or is that being a warrior? And so here's this book talking about that. After channeling about, you don't really have to take on all the crap you see around you. And some of it's kind of dark. You want to stop self-referencing? Thank you. You think your brother Jesus does that a lot? No. Thank you. So, another day, another wonderful day. Isn't that amazing? And we get another one tomorrow to try again. And hopefully experience new things. Oh, I hope. I always hope every single day. Honestly. I have for my whole life. Bring it on, bring it on, bring it on, bring it on, bring it on. And man, oh man, it's being brought on. This is something very new, what's coming to us, and it feels so good. And it's challenging. But, man, oh man, be open. Be open to synchronicity. All of this is coded. All of it. Everything. 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 Everything is significant. Everything is meaningful. It's what you choose to see. And, it was a quiet, steady day with some snarls. So, some days are snarly. So what? Everybody's okay. Everyone will tuck in and go to sleep all the same. And I get to try again tomorrow. So, blessings to everyone, and to all a good night.